There's so many things to consider. So let's just start with pregnancy. First of all, it's really important to manage your weight before you get to the stage where you're thinking about wanting to have children and starting a family. And I see more and more people impacted by weight-related infertility issues. So whether they suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, and all of these compounding factors that are impacting their ability not just to fall pregnant, but to carry a healthy pregnancy to term. So starting to think pre-pregnancy, what am I wanting to achieve? Do I want to be able to hold a healthy baby at the end? So setting yourself up for healthy pregnancy is really important. And also, you don't want to have weight-related gestational diabetes during pregnancy because that's setting you up for risk factors later on in life. It's also exposing your unborn baby to potential risks as well. So we really want to make sure that healthy pregnancy is a focus. And then I think other key things to think about: kids, childhood prevention measures are really important, and managing life as a family to be active, healthy, fit and well, really good nutritional education for children and for families, because that's so important as you're growing up and going through life. All of their growth milestones are so important as children. How do we look after them and what are we doing? So really focusing on those good, healthy behaviors and instilling those habits for life that start from a very early age. So really good nutrition, making good choices as they go through school, thinking about healthy lunch boxes even, and not falling victim to current trends and feeling as though the pressure is to eat the unhealthy foods or unhealthy choices or go to the vending machine and choose the Coca-Cola. Those things we need to limit. So I think my attitude growing up was always, I learnt young that there are no such thing as bad foods, only bad eating habits or bad eating behaviors. So it's a little bit of the 80-20 rule, if you like. And I don't like the term cheat meal. I can't stand that term. There's no such thing. Life in balance, it means that you can include absolutely everything. And I remember seeing a pediatrician early when I had my own children and was starting a family around what does good nutrition look like across the week. So think of it across the week, not just any given day. Ice cream, yay, fabulous. It's part of life. We should be able to enjoy whatever foods we love, but everything in moderation. So that would be kind of the approach to healthy food behaviors starting young and setting kids up for really being healthy before they get to the stage of puberty, especially girls, because they're so prone to being victim of so many different issues when they're going through school and life in general. So minimizing the risk for anything that's going to complicate their lives. So having a healthy weight when they go through puberty, I think, is super important because it can start to get really complicated once all those hormones kick in and all of a sudden weight gain and problems associated with that can start to kick in, and it makes life so much harder later on down the track. So let's focus on healthy families, healthy children, and setting ourselves up for healthy futures right from the outset. And then, obviously as we progress through life, being healthy as teenagers and moving into young adulthood, if you've set the foundation right, hopefully you're going to be setting yourself up for an amazing, healthy, active future. So it's not just nutrition that counts, but what about active, healthy lifestyles and getting out and about as a family and doing more? So, this isn't just about kids and children and families or women. It's actually all of us. It's communities in general. But our focus right now is on women's health. And I think it's super important that women should focus on ensuring that they're doing health checks regularly, making sure that they're checking in with their kids as well, because sometimes children don't know what signs to look for. So if you're actually noticing that something doesn't seem right, or if your child seems to be a little bit more reclusive at any certain time, maybe that's a moment to say, is their mental health okay? Is their physical health okay? Do I need to check in with my local GP and just make sure everything is on track? And also regular dental health checks. I think that's super important because oral and dental health hygiene is super important. It's also the gateway to future potential risks for disease if we're not managing it well. All those things are critical to think about right throughout early stages of life. Then what's next? So really making sure that we're looking after girls going through puberty, getting into that stage where they might be focusing on eventually having families, and then later on down the track. So I speak to so many people around the time of just hitting menopause, and all of a sudden weight gain and the ability to lose weight becomes more and more problematic. So the more we focus on young, healthy habits to establish and cement before we get to later stages of life, the better. The journey and the cycle of life, it's a long journey, and we want everyone to be healthy, fit, well, and capable of living their absolute best lives every single day. So I would say focus on some really key pillars early: good nutrition, healthy, active lifestyles, making sure always that you've got access to water and drinking plenty of water. I never have enough time, so I always keep some on my desk. What else? Making sure that kids are getting enough sleep. I see so much of the anything for peace approach. So letting kids stay up until they drop and then they go to bed. Well, I was absolutely a stickler with children for ensuring good sleep hygiene. I think that is super important as well, because it makes a world of difference. Your energy levels, ability to function, how you perform at work, at school, at play, at absolutely everything. These are the pillars for a good, healthy, solid future. And I think women, yes, they're so busy. Lives are busy. So stop, breathe, pause during Women's Health Week and think about, do I need to check in and make sure that I'm managing my health well? Have I been to see my GP? Do I need to have a pap smear, or am I doing a do it at home version? What does that look like now? There's changing models of how we approach all of these things, but making sure that we are on top of our own health all the time. I know for me personally, I hate sitting in a doctor's waiting room. It's not much fun, but everyone's got to do it at least some point. It's so important to make sure that preventative healthcare is your focus. My vision for patients here when it comes to Weight Loss Solutions Australia is always having a focus on where are you going to be 30 years from now, and making sure that patients never end up in nursing homes, because I honestly couldn't think of anything worse. And hopefully all of the things that I do in my lifestyle now are going to set me up for a healthy life where I'm going to be living in my own home. And my absolute role model was my grandmother, who lived in her own home until she was 95 and was absolute testament to survival of the fittest, active, fit, healthy and well. I think in her mid 90s, she was walking down the street one day and stopped to sit on one of the council seats near a bus stop, and she complained that she had to stop and catch her breath. So I hope that's me in my mid 90s, that I'll still be doing Gold Coast Marathon with whatever it takes. So start young, focus on being healthy, fit and well, and make sure that you do go and have a checkup with your GP. I think I make it part of my routine, and it's habit forming. Once you start to do something that you find you enjoy and that you can see the value in, you make it part of that daily schedule. And I'm not always good at it. There are times in life where stress is high and maintaining routine is tough, but really do whatever you can to stick to the plan. And maybe during those difficult stages, you might do a little bit less, but you've got to be kind to yourself as well. So taking a breath, but always making sure that there's room for movement. Movement for me is, I guess, it's a bit of a drug. That's my balance in life. I can't function well without it, and I don't really think anybody can. Our human bodies need movement, and they need care, and they need nurturing. They need all of the good stuff to make us function at our best potential. I think when it comes to nutrition, there is far too much information out there that becomes so incredibly confusing. So people don't know how much protein should I have, or how much vegetables, how many pieces of fruit. The information is so vast and so confusing, and we're bombarded with so many different philosophies and ideas and diet mentality that it does become really difficult to navigate your way through that to understand what is good nutrition. I really believe if you're stuck and you just don't know what is working and what's not, you really should check in with a dietitian. I'm obviously a fan of the dietitians here at Weight Loss Solutions Australia because they are so amazing and so highly skilled at giving best advice for each person or patient depending on their personal circumstances. Everyone's different. It depends a lot on what is your activity level, what kind of work do you do? Are you active at work, or are you like me sitting in front of a computer? These factors all make a difference. Yes, women, nurturers of the world who focus on running around can be a bit of an issue and a barrier to really looking after yourself. So that's something that you need to think about. You're not just looking after the family, but you've got to be your best self to be able to give to others as well. So filling your own cup first. In Australia, we don't eat enough vegetables, and we probably don't eat enough fruit, and we don't eat enough of the healthy stuff. So really focusing on learning and understanding and self-education, there's nothing more powerful. But I would definitely say if you're one of those people who feels like you keep trying all these different diets and you just don't know why nothing is working, it's probably a good idea to check in with a dietitian and learn a little bit more about how your body's functioning at any given time and what might be best for you. People don't need to be patients going through a whole journey to access a consultation to chat with the dietitians and learn more. Definitely one-on-one consultation because it's personalized. Everybody's different, everybody's needs are different, and really understanding that there's no cookie cutter approach when it comes to good nutrition either, because we don't know what your health concerns are, what your activity level is, what you're dealing with. We see so many people now with more and more metabolic type diseases, people taking medications, or even with the anxiety medications, for example, that so many people are on that are preventing them from not just losing weight, but maintaining healthy weight. So really getting a good snapshot of the patient's journey and profile, medical story, before we can actually prescriptively look at the best dietary information and education that we can give to that person. So I'm all for creating more healthy people. So 100% yes, people can tap in and have that one-on-one session with our dietitians with pleasure.